basically
Jay-Z's
own
mom is gay.
Jay-Z's mother?
Yeah, she's gay openly.
Okay. I'll have nothing against any person's preference, but
Me
in the
neither.
industry, they like to hide this, specifically in hip hop. They're trying to make this normal now. They're trying to push it on so it can be more accepted within the hip hop community. But the reason why they would want to keep this from the public is because they're pushing this gangster, tough guy, manly of all men persona. And if it were to come out that they were not the manly of men, so I think that's the reason why they hide it. But I 100% believe that these people are bisexual, gay, and I believe that, like I said, the Freemasons, they don't see themselves as men. They see themselves as gods. That's what the 33rd degree literally represents. It represents enlightenment. It represents reaching the level of a god.
Right, as I said, when you saw DJ Khaled in the orange, that represented him being illuminated. He reached that 33rd degree. He's enlightened. He's a quote unquote god. These celebrities, these rappers, these influencers, they loft themselves up as gods based off of the belief system, based off of the Masonic understanding when it comes to the paces. They believe that they're their own gods. That's why they push that so hard in their songs. Kendrick Lamar, reincarnated. I was stargazing. Life goes on. I need all my babies. The Elohim and all this nonsense because they're Masons. That's what they are. And just as I showed with the orange, you see this album cover from Big Sean. I touched on it before, but it's a great example because it's supposed to show some sort of like orbit type of sun illuminated within him. It represents enlightenment, represents that 33rd degree. He's a quote unquote God. He discovered himself. That's why, like, he was talking about how he was going through a lot before, the album came out, because that's part of him discovering himself. Just when it comes to the surface, he probably wasn't going through anything, but he has to lead with that because that goes into the understanding of reaching that level. That's why you see the orange a lot. Orange is an important color in the entertainment industry because it represents the number 33, enlightenment. Because they believe in numerology, gematria, so on and so forth. So that's why they pushed this so hard. That's why they pushed the orange. So that's why you saw in 2020 with the advent of COVID and all these different things that was being pushed based off of the Hegelian dialectic. You saw a lot of celebrities wearing orange hats, orange caps, because it represents them being gods, illuminated.
God is a man, essentially a man type of being. But in the Kabbalist way that they look at these things, they see man and woman as one. It's called the great androgynine. If I'm mispronouncing it, I'm sorry. But it's alchemy in the sense where the femininity and the masculinity come together to create one being, which is a god. And that's literally what Masonry teaches.
This right here is the androgynous deity, quote unquote deity known as the Baphomet. Goes back to Hermaphroditus, the child of Hermes and Aphrodite, and also Samael, the goat god. That's why they push the goat motif so hard, because it goes back to the Baphomet. And when it comes to what he was saying about, them being genderless, that's what they push. That's why they push these different concepts when it comes to genders, like non-binary and the rebus and cis is all nonsense, because these concepts go into the worship of the Baphomet. That's what it goes into, which is a pagan inspired god or deity or, symbolic figure, goat figure for the entertainment industry, going back to Pan, going back to Hermaphrodite or Hermaphroditus, Actisis or Attis, so on and so forth. That's what it represents. That's why they push transgenderism so hard. They push pansexuality so hard, sexual fluidity so hard. They try to normalize these things to get you to worship the goat. That's what it's about.
90% of these people in the industry at the level of Jay-Z, Drake, Kendrick Lamar, Kanye West, all of these people at the top, if they're into this kind of thing, because I personally believe, and I've personally proven hundreds of times, that you just cannot get to that level without being a part of that club. Would you agree with that?
I definitely would agree.
Great.
And listen, as you're saying this, and I'm thinking about the DJ Khaled situation. That TV show, it's on BET right now. It's called One Shot. And I left. There's like stories out there where I left One Shot, and I said that I left One Shot to be because I was reunited with my birth parents, and that's not really. I mean, that is the truth, but the reason why I left because the whole was gay. RZA is bisexual. Sway Calloway is bisexual. Who else was out there? DJ Khaled was bisexual. It was like one big, gay party that was all like closeted and like weird. That's why I left, because for the exact same things that you said, like people have their own preferences, people have their own beliefs. I know a lot of people. So I know a lot of, gay Christians. And then I know a lot of people like the church that my family started that would be like, there's no way that you could be a gay Christian. There's no way that you could be gay and also be a Christian at the same time. And I've done projects that are, supportive of LGBT, but it was all out in the open. The One Shot thing that I did with DJ Khaled and Sway Calloway and RZA of the Wu-Tang Clan was also gay and also hidden, and it was annoying and it was so weird because it's everything that you're talking about. Just like, be gay. Like, I know Lil Nas X is like, so like, I don't like any of his music, right? But he's out there in the open. And do you want to talk about like dark, wild stuff that he's promoting? Like, it seems like he's, satanic.
See, the reason why you have a Lil Nas X or Frank Ocean is because those people are willing to partake in the overall agenda. So you have certain people who have to maintain the persona of some sort of gangster image, or they're a family man and have a wife and kids. And then you have some who are willing to partake in the agenda openly and pretty much let people know that, they on the other side when it comes to their sexual proclivities. But in the grand scheme of things, in reality, they all sexually fluid. They're all sexually fluid. All of them. They all sleeping in the same bed. That's why Kanye West, he told you that on the song Famous. The song is called Famous. All those celebrities, they all under the same programming when it comes to sexual fluidity. Sex male beta programming, sex kitten programming when it comes to the man and the woman. In regards to the revelatory aspect of what this man is going into, Mr. Jonathan Hay, this is something that, it shouldn't surprise you unless you was under the impression, unless you looked at these people as normal people who was just successful and they just made it. They didn't have to compromise themselves. No, man. When it comes to them in regards to the entertainment industry, these people, they're assets, they influencers, they used. Any person that's on TV, that's on like a big radio station, that's in certain positions, they influencers. That's what it is.
You're mentioning the people that they're putting in place to try to normalize this within hip hop.
Right.
You do see that, right?
Yes.
Lil Nas X, his purpose was to bring down that barrier. His purpose is to make it normal, not for the generations where you come from or the generations where I come from, because they're not going to turn. That's not going to work with them. But it's for the new generation that's emerging now. They're expecting this to be normal within the next, 10 years. This is going to be popular. It's not just going to be Lil Nas X. It's going to be several rappers that are fully gay, fully embracing, that lifestyle and promoting it through their music and pushing it. Like we're seeing with, it's not just Lil Nas X. It's been gradually happening with Young Thug wearing the dress, with A$AP Rocky wearing a skirt, with Lil Uzi Vert painting his nails. Even Drake recently painted his nails.
Exactly. That's a part of the agenda. This is why you see certain rappers like a Drake or a Lil Yachty where they paint their nails. And it's more rappers than what you see here. Because piece by piece is all about breaking people down. Where it's like you associated femininity with painting nails. You associated that with women, but now they trying to like muddy up the waters in these last days because everything is kind of convoluted. Everything is based in confusion, so it's easy for certain new age type of people to get on board with this, where they don't see anything wrong with it, because that's the point. They try to reach the new generation. So the old guard, the old vanguard of people who associated masculinity with what's appropriate when it comes to manhood, it's like they dying out. They really care about the young kids. So they want young kids to look at rappers like Drake painting their nails as something cool. It's like self-expressive. It's not even quote unquote gay, or really it's not even feminine. So that's what they try to do. That's why you got the overall overt push when it comes to that agenda. And then it's like almost the semi-covert push where you have certain rappers who you wouldn't associate with that. But then again, it's easy to tell like what Drake is. But like for the simple mind, they wouldn't necessarily associate Drake with that. So when you see him do that, it's like, oh, that's not gay. You see an NBA young boy do it, it's not gay because he's a gangster. He's this and that. That's how they normalize it. That's how they make you look at it as something that's not feminine or something that's just unisex, even though it's not. It's associated with women, and it should be associated with just women. But in this world, everything is confusion. Everything is based in confusion. So that's why they push all this stuff. Just like what he was saying when it comes to just the overall agenda. With Lil Nas X, Frank Ocean, they overtly want you to get on board with it. But with a Drake painting his nails or Young Thug putting on a dress, that's how they break it down to where it's like they want you to not associate it with what you are normally associated with.